Hello and welcome to episode, I forgot already, 332-ish? Yes?
Ish.
Of DCP. Got a lot to talk about today. We got two TWABs, basically. I mean, like you said earlier, there's two TWABs. There's two TWABs this week.
Yeah.
And they've been kind of doing that lately. It's like a Wednesday TWAB and a Thursday TWAB. They don't call it a TWAB. They call it a blog, but whatever. That's a TWAB.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of nice in a way, but also you never know. Like I feel like we should expect it now, but it's never been officially announced that this is a thing. And so I'm always like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And it happens every week. But I still hesitate every week. Like, no, we're not going to get some big info drop. Like, we've had an info drop every week. This will be the week that there's not a Wednesday thing, and then there's a Wednesday thing. You're like,
well, as soon as they promise it, then they have to do it, right? But if they just keep dropping like Wednesdays, then and don't say anything about it, then they're not like forced to keep doing it if they run out of content or if they just want to take a week off.
It's a good move on their part, I think, honestly, not officially saying anything.
Yeah, I agree. Promise nothing.
Over deliver every time. It has been a ton of info, though. It's like, this week it was all about a ton of PvE activities and the commendation system and everything. Yeah. And the past like 2 or 3 weeks, it's all been PvP, like deep dives and stuff with the raid. And it's just all sorts of in-depth stuff, and I like that they sign it off at the bottom of every one of these with the @Destiny2 team on Twitter, which is where all the feedback should be going now. So it makes sense, like, okay, this is where your feedback's heard, and we're putting into this blog post. We hear you on these things, which actually, that's something that I wanted to talk about. It's not in this one, I don't think. Is it in this one? Or is it in the Thursday one? It's got to be this one. Maybe it was last week, but they talked about the artifacts giving you they're bringing new mods in season 21 that are going to be based off the armor charge stuff. And I actually tweeted @Destiny2 team, like they asked for feedback, and I was like, here's my feedback. I would like there to be a way to get armor charge from the fire sprites, the void breach, like all of those things, because it felt natural having it in the artifact, but you could only get it from fire sprites. And then in the thing, they were like, and now we're introducing a new mod where you can get armor charge from these different things. I was like, I feel so seen right now. I never feel this way. Or like Bungie's like listening to me directly.
No, quick, now fix PvP.
Yeah.
They're listening to you. Yeah, I think that was it. That was in the this Wednesday at Bungie.
Yeah, this Wednesday at Bungie.
Yeah,
I call it something.
It's still TWAB.
Damn,
it's still TWAB. It's this Wednesday and then this week. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a ton of information in there. Mylan, you also figured out what the hell the veil was.
Yeah. I baited people into like a 30-minute video about the veil.
And
nicely done. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I've replayed the entire campaign. I looked at every single time they said the word veil. I think it was something like 56 veils in the main campaign. And I clipped them all together. And then there was also a tweet from one of the I can't remember the exact title, if it was like a narrative director or art or something like that. But essentially they tweeted some original concept stuff about the veil, and they actually gave the description of the veil, which is something along the lines of like to do with the universe, the memory of the universe. Right. So yeah, that was basically the conclusion. It makes a lot of sense that the veil is linked to memory. It links a lot to Witch Queen and Savathun. Obviously, she has a lot of things going on with recovering memory, being a guardian, and that was a bit of a point in the Witch Queen. And we also have Deep Sight, the entire crafting system, which is all based on memory as well. And they sort of revealed in Lightfall about the true nature of light and darkness, saying that darkness is like the non-physical, and it's like nightmares of memory and emotion and that kind of stuff. So it would make sense that the veil is memory related, and that's sort of why it also admits other stuff like strand farts as as Nimbus puts it. Yeah, so that video went out. It took a long time to put together, and people seem to enjoy it, so it's nice. And I started working on the Cloud Arc was the next thing, because that's the next. What the fuck? I don't really understand this aspect of Lightfall. Was like all the digital citizens and like how that worked and where are they and are they permanently in there and where are their bodies and do they live separately from their consciousness? Like what happens if they die in stasis or in cryo? La la la. And when I was doing that video, I actually found some really interesting stuff about Nimbus and his journey to become a Cloud Strider and pretty dark history of Neomuna. And that's actually going to, I sort of pivoted, and that's going to be the next video.
Nice.
And it's interesting because when you start reading into the lore about Nimbus and Neomuna and how they created Cloud Striders, it is very propagandary. It's you know how like Jisoo Colorado is like a wartime reporter? Do you know how he's got that like
yeah,
that reporter vibe? When you start taking that into consideration as like a theme, that he's like a frontline reporter and in like sort of bends truth a little bit, and you start looking at the lore, you realize that like they do have a little bit of a dark history when it comes to creating Cloud Striders, and they sort of bury it. And they also influence their populace to really put Cloud Striders on this pedestal of hero,
Right.
and specifically kids, influencing kids to want to become Cloud Striders to protect the city, knowing that it's Death Wish.
It's like Starship Troopers all over again.
Yeah, it is very typical of like idolizing, you know, war and like and talking up the you know those like old I guess ads like wartime propaganda, like, hey, go on an adventure, like sign up today. And that's sort of is what they do. They're very heavily inspired to the Cloud Strider story. So I sort of take people on a journey to understand Nimbus's backstory, which explains a lot, because that's why their backstory. That's why Nimbus is quite immature.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Of that, yeah, and it really, it really helps understand Nimbus's character a bit more.
Yeah, I was wondering about because he does have that or they do have that super young vibe to them. Nimbus does, and it's interesting hearing you talk about the war propaganda and the glorification of the Cloud Striders. That makes a lot of sense. I had never thought of it that way, but now that you've talked specifically about the radio announcer, that like clicks immediately when you say that. I'm like, oh yeah.
And if you go and read the lore books, they're written in pairs, and the first one is like how they teach their kids about Cloud Striders. It's called like Capybara Corner. And the second entry is like a deleted record from the Neomuna archives, or they're some sort of like hidden archive, and they're always like deleted or encrypted. And it's ironic because when you start talking to the archivist, she's like, oh, it's really, history is like really important, all this kind of stuff. Like it's really important for us to document history. And then you go look at the law books, and it's like one part of it's public information, and the other part is always being deleted or like hidden. And what they've done is they've written it in a way that you see the discrepancies between what they tell their youth and what they actually make public information. The best example is one of the Cloud Striders essentially trained kids, and they ended up, she calls them terrorists. They basically become like terrorists with Cloud Strider training. And like in the kids version, you obviously don't hear that. She's like, oh, you know, the Cloud Strider saved us from this basically rebel uprising. And then when you read her version of events, she's like, this is the greatest mistake I've ever made, was to train these kids to become gods, and then we only picked one, and they basically went off the rails and started, rebelling against the city. So yeah, super interesting. I was like, holy shit.
Is any of this in, because I haven't played all the exotic missions from Neomuna yet. It's the one I've been diving into, all the like actual legendary weapons that you get, but I know there's all the post-campaign exotic stuff. Are any of these stories in those missions, or is it all just lore?
This is mostly the lore book about the Cloud Striders.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a little bit maybe in the post campaign, but you don't really get it is relatively hidden, I guess. And you sort of have to read that lore book and see that one side is sort of information that you get and one side is not information or like has been sort of encrypted or whatever. And yeah, it's a cool theme because Neomuna is always painted as this paradise and also like a better humanity that like documented history better. But it's sort of like just the same as everyone else, history is written by the winners. And they also needed heroes. They needed people to defend the city. They needed someone to go through the process of becoming Cloud Strider. And they actually, one of the lore tabs documents Nimbus's conversion to a Cloud Strider, and it's pretty like brutal. Like his whole organs, their organs are replaced and skin ripped off kind of deal, and like throat flayed open, replaced by nanites and this kind of stuff. Yeah. So that should be out over the Sunday night US, Monday morning. Yeah. And okay, I want to say something else because I see, and they're actually my hobbits, so I'm going to yell at them anyway. YCQ, okay? It's a video game. Listen here. Okay. I know this is going to be the comic, and I actually didn't go so heavy on the propaganda talk because I knew the Americanos would all get fired up in chat. And here's the thing. Every bit of writing is based on the writer's experience, things that are happening in the world. Yes, it's fiction. Yes, it's a video game, but it's got to come from somewhere. And every time I have these like pretty crazy conversations, like and relate it to reality, there's always someone going, "It's just a video game." Well, stop watching lore videos, okay? Go do the pew-pews, ignore the lore. That is, people don't just create stories from nothing. People write stories about their experiences and their viewpoint and their lens of the world. And when you look into Neomuna, I think that is one of the themes they went with, and that is exactly why you get characters like Jisoo, who sounds like that radio presenter, wartime propaganda. Simple as that. It might not be as overt as that. It might not, whatever. But it's hard to deny that is at least my interpretation of some of the themes of Neomuna. And when you look at Nimbus, I think that's part of his story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny to me that people get wrapped up in
their story. Sorry, I keep saying his story, their story.
Yeah, it's funny to me that people. I mean, it's sad and it gets me a little angry that people get so wrapped up in the for lack of a better words, like politics of it all. Whenever like that is what the sci-fi medium is for, a lot of times is like telling these in-depth stories, these personal humanitarian stories wrapped up in a fantasy adventure that you get sucked into, and you can see something from a new perspective that maybe you were unable to see before just living your normal life. It's one of the reasons I love sci-fi, and I think Destiny is really becoming its own, especially the last few years, in being able to tell stories like that are very personal and meaningful to a lot. I feel like every season now there's some story context that's laid out, and I see someone on Twitter that's like, oh man, like I relate to this so much. This like hits home for me in this way. This brought me to tears or something like that. And even if it didn't for me, like that's somebody else's story that connects with them. It's based in some real life thing.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Like I'm okay if people don't want to engage with that. Like I'm completely fine if people like, I just want to do the shoot pew-pews. But if you're going to watch a lore video from me, like, my experiences color the writing too, and it is my interpretation of someone else who was a human who was writing fictional stories using their own experiences. And if you think Bungie is not going to add that flavor and commentary about politics and life into writing, you are smoking crack. Okay, of course they are. Of course, Bungie writers are going to make comments on society and on the things that are happening to us through the video game. Yeah. And if that really upsets you, you need to find another game or just stop listening to story stuff. And it's easy as that.
Yeah. Summed it up perfectly.
Right. What else? What else are we tackling? What are the big issues we're tackling today? Who wants some?
Religion.
Watts is not here to
On
temper
to religion.
I'm sure we could make some correlations here. We do have the whole rank up system, and I feel like that is pretty divisive right now online.
Sure. Okay,
that's the very first thing in the Wednesday TWAB here is just everything to do with rank ups, guardian ranks, and commendations.
Real quick, I did want to mention Watts is out. She's still dealing with her wisdom teeth surgery. We hope she's getting better and she's feeling better, and hopefully she'll be back next week.
Nice.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that for anybody wondering.
Do you want to just roll through this Wednesday thing? Do you want to talk about?
There is a dot point summary in the TWAB, so maybe
I was gonna say yes.
Yeah, let's do it then. Yeah, let's do that. Yep.
That's because that's so much easier to go through. I'll just read the some of the recaps of just the Guardian rank stuff real quick so we can talk about it. The recap from the Thursday TWAB for the Wednesday TWAB is Guardian ranks are meant to represent your accomplishments. Your rank displayed will reflect your highest rank earned last season. If you surpass that rank in the current season, the number will update. Renewing previously completed ranks will be fast-tracked, and returning players will start at rank 5. Ranking from 5 to 7 will be faster than it was to rank from 6 to 7.
Wait a minute. Is this new that your seasonal, the number above your head is going to reflect last season's rank until you surpass it? Did we know that?
Yes.
That's
this is like a change because everyone was like, I'm not regrinding Guardian ranks every single season. This seems like a bad idea.
You're still going to have to. It's just that it's not going to be.
Well, only if you want to. If you get to level 9 this season,
right?
You'll just stay at level 9 until
you the number will stay at level 9, but you'll go back to level 5, right?
You will, but the number above your head, I guess, won't, because it says starting rank 5.
I guess so. Yeah.
7.
But and then let's say in season 21 I get up to 9.
Yeah.
And then in season 22 I don't play a lot. So I stay at rank 6.
Yeah.
In season 20, the next season after that, I lost track of the numbers I was using. 23, it'll say rank 6 above my head. It'll no longer say rank 9. It's not going to just like forever maintain the highest rank I ever achieved. It's going to show the highest rank you received last season or in the current season if you surpass last season's rank.
It just says last season, so that's what I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's better than just losing it like day 1 of the new season, I think.
Yeah, I do want to.
It is a better change, yeah.
I do want to read one more thing that is only in the Wednesday thing. It's a summary, though. It's just their goals for Guardian ranks, because that kind of clarifies it for me. A lot of people look at the system and they get frustrated because they see like, well, I'm a PvP player and there's nothing in here for PvP players, or what you can name X activity, Gambit, anything. And so it says their goal, Guardian ranks should serve as a guide to let you know what you should be doing to improve your Guardian, especially if you're new to the game. They should create a social signal to others so that you can quickly glean some information about a Guardian skill within Destiny 2. This social signal should also carry meaning season over season. That's their like goal for it. And I think the thing that stuck out to me there was Guardian, the very first sentence, Guardian rank should serve as a guide to let you know what you should be doing to improve your Guardian. And I was like, I'm kind of out right there. Like, I don't need somebody to tell me what I should be doing to, like, I'm just playing the game to enjoy it. So it feels like Guardian ranks isn't for me. And then they clarify mainly for new players.
Yeah.
So I feel like the system just isn't made for me. And so no matter what they change to it, it's not really going to be for me, is kind of how I feel about it.
New players
I mean, it's also interesting, like you're a Crucible player and there's no Guardian rank for Crucible.
Yeah, that's a big one. But new players definitely need something to guide them.
Yes.
Because right now it feels like you're just kind of, you're just like dumped into the world, and it's kind of like up to you to figure it out. Either like go watch some videos on like what you should do in your first few hours of Destiny, or, your friends hopefully will help you out, or, whatever. But you are really just kind of dumped into the world. So having something like this, I keep meaning to start a new character in Destiny because I really want to see what Destiny looks like as like a new player. But the last time I did this, you really were just like dumped. You know, like it felt like aimless.
It's pretty interesting. Watts' comment in chat because she's not with us live, but well, she is with us live, but she's typing.
She's
in chat,
dead.
Talking about she's still alive, but she's talking from another realm. You know, the whole SPM in PvP is targeted at giving new players a good experience in Crucible, right? Yeah. So they're not completely head stomped from the beginning. Interesting. Then why is it not in Guardian ranks? Why is it not just like participate in quick play? Why is it not like, hey, you know, if you're a new player to Destiny, do you even know that like Trials opens up on the weekend and it's like powered enabled, and you have to get 7 wins in a row?
Isn't there a pop up on Friday that says Trials is opened up?
There might be a pop up. I don't know.
But you skip over that so fast. The amount of times that there's been something important, and I'm just like, get to my character. Oh shoot!
Oh, what was that?
I needed to see that. Record PlayStation. Rewind 15 seconds.
Yeah, you know, so. I think, I don't know, it's very telling that it's not part of Guardian ranks. So it's like, well, you don't want to orientate new players to PvP, or?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
They do say at the very end of the Wednesday section on this, we also plan on remixing ranks 6 to 11 to provide better expression of skill between those ranks. So like, maybe there's hope for some variety in the content, not just do these hardcore PvE things and that's it. Because there are plenty of people that they just go to play strikes and chill. And like, I guess if it's supposed to represent skill, maybe there's some definition of skill that they're going by that's like raids are the ultimate, or, you know, soloing a dungeon is the ultimate. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I feel like there's a line blurred between what is helpful for new players and what is helpful to define you as a player that's always been here.
I got a question for you guys. Are PvP players like the ex-boyfriend that Bungie broke up with 2 years ago, and the boyfriend just doesn't get it, like still calls, still thinks that they're together, still thinks that they're in love, but really Bungie has completely moved on?
So as a PvP player, I'll take it first here. I feel a little different than I think a lot of the Twitter speak that I see online about PvP players. I actually feel like there is a lot more nuance to PvP than there used to be, specifically when you get down to the nitty gritty of how it's all balanced. And I really appreciate a lot of different things of it. I do a whole other show, the Destiny Massive Breakdown show, just on that topic. And I feel like it has been shown a lot of love recently, the amount of updates that they bring to it and the individual balancing to certain guns versus it just being PvE stuff, which I know PvE players could complain the other way around with that. But there is an aspect of it that I'm like, wow, a lot of attention is being shown to it, especially with these reworks. But then on the flip side, you know, the maps thing is a huge, like, there's no way around. There are deep holes in the PvP community that we're like, what happened here? And at this point, I don't feel as alienated ex-boyfriend about it. I feel more like, you know, there's something. It's not me, it's you. I don't know what to call it.
You're like a work friend, like, kind of stuck in like the friend zone, and like she's kind of keeping you like on the side in case she can't find anything better by the time she turns 35 and she really wants kids. Like, all right, I'll take it.
I don't know. It's like there's that one thing missing from the relationship that you're like, I want to put a ring on it, but I'm not sure about this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're kind of toxic on Twitter. I don't really know if they're marriage material.
What do you think,
I mean,
Mylan?
that being said, I have had an incredibly fun time with Strand in Crucible.
Yeah.
In certain modes, I've actually had a fair bit of fun in Trials. Trials felt fine. Iron Banner this week felt sweaty as fuck. I don't know what the hell's gone on Iron Banner, but I was getting my socks rocks. That's right. So I was getting absolutely slammed in Iron Banner. Can't say I've done a lot of quick play, but I've had a fair bit of fun with Strand actually in comp and Trials. Has been okay. Iron Banner felt super sweaty. I don't know what quick plays I like at the moment.
Yeah. That SBMM hit hard in Iron Banner this week.
Is that what did it?
Yeah, because last time we had what is it? Ignition, eruption. Last time we had eruption, it was connection based, or at least it wasn't the SBMM that we have now. And so it hit real hard. I think a lot of people are experiencing that. Saw a lot of PvP players saying this is terrible. I think TV put out a tweet that literally just said Iron Banner is terrible, and that's all it said, or something like that. And
to the point.
Yeah, and so just the way the balancing is right now and everything, you just every game. Here's the difference for me. I'll tell you what it is for me and see if it relates to your experience, Mylan. Is that the first time around, everybody was getting the eruption status where you had to go get the kills, and everybody was just making stupid plays and dumb decisions because it was connection based, and they were just playing whatever, running in, dying, who cares? And this time, because it's SBMM, everybody is standing off barriers, playing back, not being aggressive or sticking to each other like magnets, just on top of each other where you can't get into it. That has been my experience.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking back to some of the matches I had. I'm like, this is sixes and trials. Like, this is crazy passive play, like getting picks then steamroll. I'm like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and wells are huge. Bubbles and wells are all over the place.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's definitely aspects of PvP that I've been really enjoying, and I kind of wish all the other subclasses were on the same level as Strand. It was like, Strand just feels so goddamn balanced. It's like you've got the movement tech there. You can be really meaningful with your abilities, but you can also stuff it up and not do so well with it.
Yeah.
It feels so good, Strand.
It's really flexible, and that high ARP actions per minute that they were talking about, like, really translated to in-game. Like, I feel that when I'm playing Strand. It feels awesome.
Like, I think I did, one of the best things I did in Trials is I dropped a barrier, which suspended an enemy. I killed the enemy. They dropped the tangle. I grappled to the tangle, so I got my charge back. I picked up the tangle midair. I threw the tangle, grappled back onto it, and finished on a grapple melee. I'm like, this is fucking cool as.
That's awesome.
I was berserking down the river. Yeah.
So I've been doing that same thing with what I talked to you about pre-show with the well-rounded perk, because you grapple and you get that well-rounded ×1. There's a perk that like nobody's using called well-rounded that gives you a ton of range and stability. And I did that move that you're talking about where I'll like grapple and get it going, and then once you if you're using the Hunter exotic helmet that came this season, you get woven mail when you grapple. And so I do that, grapple, I get well-rounded ×2 going. I've got woven mail. When I get a kill with woven mail, it makes a tangle, like you were saying. And then I throw that tangle and grapple it again. It adds 15 seconds to the well-rounded timer. And you just keep going the whole time. It's so much fun.
It is really good. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, and Crucible, there's lots of little things in Crucible that make it enjoyable, and there's lots of little things that make it really unenjoyable. And there's not much balance at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Some modes are just enjoyable, and some modes are like, just pain. And I think you just need that consistent experience, and hasn't probably had a consistent experience in Crucible in quite a while, which I think makes it feel quite catastrophic. People talk about PvP.
Yeah. I do feel like we're in a good direction with it right now, especially with all the changes to matchmaking. I'm very excited for all those.
Going back to Guardian ranks.
Yeah.
This does to me show that they are like working on this system. It does to me feel like a system that can improve and become a system that like a lot of players can enjoy it. Maybe not every player, but like if they add things, if they diversify it a little bit, it seems like something that could be.
Here's the thing: like, what did this system add that a season pass rank didn't?
That's a good question.
I think the only thing is for new players, right? Just the guidance. That's the only thing. That's
it, right? It's just the guidance of new players to jump into activities. because they said they wanted to be a social indicator. Well, you know what a social indicator? If I see you level 500, I'm going to say you got no goddamn life. Go touch grass, loser. Right there you go. There's a social indicator. This guy knows, this dude, this guardian knows what's up. They've been playing the game a lot. Maybe they'll help me out. I don't know.
Yeah.
As they speed by you on their way to a lost sector.
Yeah, and same with titles. I mean, titles are a much better idea of how competent people are in specific activities. If they've got titles and they've gilded their titles, then you know that they've seen some shit.
Yeah, that tells me something. I hope that they do a better job of that 6 to 11 rank that they were talking about, like defining what that means and maybe giving some variety to it. Like maybe even, I don't know, because titles already do some of that, so you don't need to like completely go into it. They kind of go into furthering guardian ranks with the commendations. They kind of go hand in hand. They've got the commendations won't be tightly tied to guardian rank progression, reduce requirements for ranks 7 to 9. Leadership commendations for ranks 10 to 11 will be retroactive, and they're adding a best dressed commendation as well.
True. Oh, so look, someone did have a good comment in chat saying that, if someone's high season pass, maybe they've just, firstly, they just unlocked the moon glitch, or they've just grinded strikes. And you know what? That's actually fair. That's fair. They might not be specialized in certain things or haven't done end game stuff.
I think your point about the title was good, though, because that is very specific and shows something.
Yeah. I mean, commendations, I think... I don't know. I think commendations are pointless too.
They just don't need to be so generic to where it's like, it's just an automatic reaction that you do because you want something. Like if it was tied to more meaningful, like I want to tell this guy GG because it was a good game and I noticed them and we were like playing as a team. Or one thing that I'd really like is if you're in a game like a Crucible match and you could give someone on the other team a GG somehow, be like, that was a good fight. You put up a good fight. Like I'm not teabagging you at the end. Or maybe I did. And I want to like, hey, say GG. Like I'm just playing around, or something.
You can commendate the other team.
Okay. See, that's good. That's like a step, but I want it to be like where it actually tells them something. Cause right now you commendate the other team. It's kind of like, what are you saying? Like, it's just not very clear. I guess you can give there's one that's like, the power move or something, like you were the power player. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
right
if I get teabagged, I usually commendate them with like level-headed or something.
That's good. I like it.
This is that's how I get the final say on the Crucible match. Yeah.
What else was in that Wednesday swap?
There is difficulty adjustments. The difficulty adjustments this time, they go through a couple of different ones, legend and master sections here. So enemies won't be as tanky in legend and master activities. Scoring objectives will be adjusted to better suit bounties and guardian rank progression. Improved terminal overload matchmaking and adjustments to team unfriendly Vanguard bounties are coming and more. I like the legend master activities being not as like I get that like it's more engaging because I liked it in Battlegrounds last season. It felt more engaging. I wasn't just falling asleep like I did in Dares last season, but I think I recognize, and Bungie does too, that like, hey, we don't want it to be harder than a raid to do these activities.
Yeah. I think for me is like, if you use your primary weapon on like just a red border, just a basic bitch enemy, and it literally takes like 3/4 of the magazine, like I think
that sucks. That's not
too
fun.
much.
It's just like because it gets boring. Just like bang, 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 bang. Like, oh, this guy's still alive. It doesn't feel dynamic. You're not like jumping through the air and like headshotting this guy and like headshotting that guy. Like it doesn't. You just feel like you're just standing there like bang, bang, bang. It feels very boring.
Yeah. And I think with the way loadouts are at the moment, the armor mods, like everything's sort of toned down a bit. And I think the tankiness sort of got away because it was sort of a double up. It was like bullets do less damage, but you also got less ability uptime compared to previous seasons. So it just felt things were feeling like GMs.
It's funny too because we're kind of getting the opposite of that now because we're getting this where enemies won't be as tanky, and then we're also getting the buff that I think was last week where they talked about auto rifles, hand cannons, all these primaries getting buffed. So enemies going to be weaker, and our primaries getting buffed. I feel like between those two, it'll probably feel like a lot better state than it is now, and probably a lot more fun.
It's a difficult medium to hit, right? It's like you want it to be engaging. Hard enough that it's engaging, but not so hard that it's like obtuse, like you're just banging your head against the wall. Or even if you're making progress, it's so slow that it just feels boring, You're just standing, next to a wall and ducking in, ducking out, ducking in, ducking out forever.
Yeah. It's actually a difficult balance.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially
hopefully they nail it with these. Go ahead.
They also have content that's like, anywhere from 3 weeks old or 6 weeks old to 6 years old, and like all been built by different people and built in different ways with different enemies. So it's like
so true.
Trying to balance all of that stuff. That can't be easy.
Yeah. And I'm sure that some of this stuff would have felt different if like we had last season's power, like you were saying, Mylan, but we kind of got the double, like our powers got changed. And our abilities got changed, and the enemies got harder, and it kind of all hit at once. So it's a little more shocking to the system. So glad they're making these tweaks.
Yeah, because I've been hearing about the whole Lost Sector. I saw Datto did a Lost Sector video, and I was like, how bad can it be? And then I'm like, because I'm actually not at I'm not very high level yet. I think I'm only 18, 13 or something like that. And I think the Lost Sectors are 18, 30.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is more difficult than the goddamn brain.
I had the exact same experience doing, because I wanted that hunter helm I was talking about that gives you the damage resistance on a grapple. And so I went in there as my hunter, but it was like I played the campaign with my Titan originally. So I went in with my hunter and I was like 40 power level under, and I had to try it like 2 or 3 times before I actually successfully made it through. It was difficult.
Yeah. And I don't mind stuff being difficult. Like once you got the right loadout, it was fine. But also it was like interesting how Lost Sectors are the things you need to grind power level for now. Like there'll be
It is.
I think Datto sort of hit the nail on the head. It's like they'll probably be fine next season because there won't be a bump in power level. So they'll be back to feeling okay. Which I think is in the I think that's actually in the
at the end of it. Yeah, the Wednesday thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about because I hate power leveling. It's my least favorite thing in Destiny.
Same.
Yeah. Next on the Wednesday, Twab, they said there will be better ways to obtain exotic armor, and they actually gave pictures and demonstrations of all this. But one of them is the Vex Strike Force that's on Neomuna. That's the exotic world event. Will award unobtained exotic armor pieces on a knockout list. So if you're looking, for that hunter helmet, and you don't want to do that legend lost sector, you can go do this, which is pretty great.
I don't know about you guys. I didn't even know that thing existed. I didn't even know what the Vex Strike Force thing was. And I was like, it's a public event. I'm like, what do you mean? I've never seen it.
Okay, get this. I have played it one time. And the one time I was like, oh, it's happening. Let me jump in. I run in there and I'm doing it. We barely are at the last one. It's like we almost didn't finish it. It was like within the first week, everyone was under leveled. We're about to finish it. And then my PlayStation's just like, nope, freeze glitches and shuts down. I Googled it later. It's a thing. No one on PlayStation could complete it. Everyone's PS5 glitched at the end of that encounter. So it wasn't just me. That was like a thing. And I think it's fixed now probably, but I was like, I can't even play it.
PS5 Pros. Sitting there with an amateur PlayStation 5.
I need to play Destiny on PC is what this is telling me.
Yeah, so you're going to get a guaranteed piece of armor. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Very cool.
Love it.
And then they're adding more ways with their introducing exotic armor focusing next season and updates to more than 15 exotic armor pieces coming next season.
That's cool.
So,
so the armor focusing is interesting. So you can. The prices are pretty expensive. So basically, you get an exotic engram, like what from a random drop or from your season pass.
Or from just running the Vex Strike
and I'm assuming
over and over again.
vendors and that, and then you can have a precision decryption of it, so you can actually select. Okay, I want this specific armor piece because I'm trying to get a better roll, or you can what was it? The actual like expansions or something? I think was the more broad.
Like Red War leg decryption is one of the options. The examples they give.
Yeah, but I think the precision was something like 3 golf balls and an exotic cipher.
That's right.
Plus your normal like legendary shards and glimmer. So I like the idea, but it feels very pricey.
Yeah, but how you're not gonna be doing this for like all your exotic armor. You're gonna do it for like that one piece that you really want a good roll on. Right?
Some people do it for all.
But here's the thing: you're only gonna be able to do it once a week. Because an exotic cipher you're gonna do once a week. And if you ever done armor, like actually trying to get an armor roll, you're gonna need more than like one roll to get the roll that you need.
It depends on the roll. Like, is it gonna give us like 56 stat? Exotic, or is this going to be like, no, you can guarantee. Yeah, exactly. As someone, I think it was Fallout that was speaking about this, but like, you want it to be above like at least 64 and up, right? To make it worth it. Because if it's within the 50s at all, or even low 60s, it's like, that's too expensive to even risk that, right?
Oh yeah, apparently they are increasing the cipher cap. But I'm still assuming you can only... that would only be if you were like, you can still only do one a week, but you could hold more than one.
Didn't they have something like this in D1 with glass needles? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, you just got to re-roll stuff with glass needles.
Yeah. That sounds familiar for exotic.
I don't know why.
I don't remember what that was for.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so... I just think... Even if it was just like, even if it was one golf ball, I still think you would be grinding a fair bit because you're only limited in how many exotic engrams you're going to get anyway from your vendors. You got to go grind that, and then to get golf balls, you got to go do your GMs, and then I would say if you're the Destiny player who's making a build, you likely already have your Artifice armor in every other slot. Okay, and you're probably looking for a specific stat distribution on whatever exotic you are. So you're probably going to have to roll what? I mean, 5 would be... You'd be so happy if you rolled 5 fucking armor pieces and actually got the roll you wanted.
That sounds miserable.
Thanks for ruining that for me, Mylan.
Oh, man. That's tough. There's another part to this too that you were talking about, that every other vendor has this system now too, like Trials, Iron Banner now, where you have the engrams go and then you decrypt them for a cost. And I will say that is one of the things that feels really weird in Iron Banner right now is I'm so broke from spending so many legendary shards and glimmer on trying to get gear rather than it just dropping in game, which granted, that's great that I can focus it, but it's getting to the point where I'm going to have too many engrams to even be able to focus because I'm so broke. Like everything costs. And it's not that it costs a huge amount, but it's just everything costs now. And it adds up when you got Trials, you got Crucible, you got Iron Banner, you got your Vanguard stuff. You'll have exotic stuff soon. And I'm not going to have any resources left, and the game isn't giving me resources fast enough. There's no way to there's no ghost mod that gives me legendary shards, Someone's telling me to go grind public events. Maybe I should.
Yeah. But like Killer and Chad said, look, if the stats are like always guarantee 65 plus, yeah, cool. Okay, that's fine. What do you want to bet that they're not gonna be 65 plus? Like
I don't want to bet anything, but they ought to be high. They ought to be high.
They ought to be, but they won't.
Plus they're exotic.
I'm waiting for screenshots of like below 60s.
Don't. No. It would kill the system immediately. No one would do that.
Okay, maybe 60 minimum. I think you'll see 60s.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Unfortunately, that's what I think.
You nice
because you reprint
48.
it. What's the reprint? 53 or whatever. Like what's the most basic bitch exotic stat you get from collections, or is it less than that? Is it like 40 something?
I feel like it's in the 50s. I don't think it goes down to 40s for out of collections exotics. I could be wrong.
48.
I feel like Bungie's got to be smarter than this, though, than to make it be a low roll of 48. Oh my gosh! Because the reason why is because they've got to value their players' time. So many people don't play Grandmaster Nightfalls and they don't get those golf balls. Yeah, a lot of us do who listen to this podcast and stuff, but there's so many players and so many people who don't interact with that part of the game that they only get maybe 3 Ascendant Shards every season, maybe 4. Maybe you get like 1 or 2 extra from the season pass, but that's basically 2 exotic rerolls within your season. That's hardly anything, you know?
We'll see. We'll see. Because I think if they're going to charge that much, it needs to have pretty good rolls. And if they don't, then I think this is what Bungie does though. They make everything like super grindy because then they can dial it back.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you can't go the other way. You can't make something like easy to get and then realize, oh my God, players are getting like their god rolls straight away and they're not engaging with that game anymore. And then now we got to make it more grindy. They can't do that. They got to start at the most grindy, see what the complaints are like, and then dial it back. And I guarantee that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll move on to something that I am excited about. And that is the thing I was talking about a second ago, which is Buildcrafting next steps for season 21. Unless y'all have something else you want to say for the exotic armor pieces.
No. So, in general, great idea. I just think that like all these kind of systems with a loot and shoot game, it's all about just time investment to reward. And right now, I feel like the time investment's way higher than the reward, assuming that we're not going to get crazy god roll stats. But wait and see.
Yeah. Or new ways to acquire this material. I feel like it's got to be one or the other. Because if it gave us more options for getting the stuff to buy it, that'd be one thing. But I don't think that's going to happen either. Okay, Buildcrafting next steps for season 21. There's 2 new armor mods coming. Shoot to Loot will collect orbs of power in addition to ammo.
Nice.
They're adding 1 strand aspect for each class, and they gave us the names of those, but no details on them. And then artifact perks will be refunded and applied individually. You will no longer need a full reset to change your build. Thank goodness.
Not bad.
Not
the
bad.
Shoot to Loot is an interesting change. Like that's might
cool.
Make Shoot to Loot worth it depending on the difficulty of the content, to be honest.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who run Shoot to Loot anyway. Like they think it's worth it now. So to add that in there, I think it's going to be a perk a lot of people go for.
Yeah, I've seen like the solo Nezarec videos where they're like hot swapping to a loadout with Shoot to Loot so they can get ammo back without having to run around.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Pretty cool.
I definitely think in harder content, like when you start getting to GMs, being able to pick up an armor charge and like make your build work without like essentially risking dying is pretty big.
Yeah. I'm pumped about those armor mods, the powerful attraction, elemental charges, powerful attraction that they didn't list it in the summary on Thursday, but in Wednesday they say powerful attraction's a mod that when using your class ability, it's going to collect all the orbs within a radius determined by the number of copies of the mod you have equipped. So you just put down, instead of having Shoot to Loot, you just put down your barrier, Titan barrier, and it collects all the orbs within a certain distance.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, depending on the radius, that'd be pretty nice too.
Yeah, they said they couldn't do Seeking Orbs mod that they used to have for wells. It just got too complicated with the way the objects work since orbs have been in the game for so long and they aren't updated like wells. And then the new one is Elemental Charges, the other new one, collecting the subclass collectible associated with your damage type. So like Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, Void Breaches, has an escalating chance to grant you a stack of armor charge. And on Strand, this is granted by destroying Tangles.
Great. I was like, what does Strand do? Yeah, okay.
I know. Oh, but you do that all the time with Strand and PvP. That's actually going to be really good. Ah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm excited for all of it. Like, this is the one thing that I was like, please, I need this. I don't like that it's an escalating chance, but I like that at least they have something like that because I feel like they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then there's... Do what? I thought someone was saying something. My screen glitched for a second. Then finally, there's no power level increase in season 21.
Power level is the next thing.
Yeah, power level. No power level. There's no power level increase in season 21, so the schedule will change a bit. Trials of Osiris available in week 1, and weekly Grandmaster Nightfalls available in week 2, with Conqueror Gilding Node still planned for week 7.
That's nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Earlier.
I hope that Trials of Osiris week 1 is the new Trials of Osiris that they announced a couple of weeks ago with the new matchmaking and the new 2-pool system where there's like a practice pool and then the real one, and there's no more card-based matchmaking. It's just connection-based matchmaking the whole way through.
Did they not date that? Did they not say specifically when that was going to happen?
I need to go back and look. I feel like it's season 21, but okay. I'm really pumped for it.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. I think in trials. See what happens.
Yeah, and that's it for the Wednesday thing.
Yep. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm pumped for all the changes.
Yeah, I'm telling people like Guardian Max, Commendation. Well, wait and see.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many changes coming. This has actually happened like the last few seasons in a row where there's just been like these huge lists of changes that they've given us every week. And it's almost hard to like, by the end of it, like 3 weeks in, like remember all of the changes that we've been promised. So when the actual stuff arrives, when the next season arrives, you're like, oh yeah, they talked about that. Oh yeah, this is different now. Because a lot of these are like small changes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, they add up over time, though, yeah.
Yeah, am I going to remember shoot to loot will collect orbs in addition to ammo on week 1 of season 21? No, I am not. But hopefully I'll get a weapon and like accidentally shoot an orb and be like, oh, hey.
I bet stuff like that'll happen. That's kind of how I feel with the new mod system. So, and with Strand in general, like Mylan was talking about, how you keep moving Strand, like it just keeps creating stuff for you. Sometimes I forget, like, oh yeah, I'm going to create a tingle now. Like I just completely will forget that that's a part of the loop. I'm not fully adjusted to it yet. There's just all this new stuff.
Yep.
Well,
Twobby?
Twab?
Actual Twab?
Yeah. Should we start with the Conqueror stuff?
Yeah, sure.
I haven't read this unless anyone else has done a pre-read.
I have not, but I'm down
what happens when we don't have what's?
Who's done
their pre-reading? Oh God, I used to hate. Do you guys have pre-readings over in college and universities over there? Oh, mate, pre-readings suck.
Watts is laughing at us in chat right now. She's like,
Yeah.
No, I'll read real quick. With Conqueror during season 20, they added additional adept weapons, the Buzzard, which we have now, and it has some awesome new perks like kinetic trimmers, which I have not got yet, but I know TV's been excited about that. And then the Swarm Arc machine gun has been refreshed with new perks like target lock. Okay. And don't forget, they talk about how you can focus stuff. That's great. And then they do a reminders of how Grandmasters is going to work, because with Conqueror coming around the corner, your power level caps 25 levels below the activity for season 20. That means combatants will be 1840, but you will be 1815 at the most. Combatants can take more hits, deal more damage, quite aggressive. Champions will be abundant to be sure they have proper weapons to deal with them. There's one burn that will cause you, and this is the new stuff kind of, I guess, for the season. There's one burn that will cause you to receive 25% more damage from certain element, and also 2 elemental surges and overcharge weapons, both granting 25% damage increase. Revives are limited, and after a certain amount of time, darkness will encroach, and you won't be able to revive or be revived.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they do a final note on the Heist Battlegrounds and some adjustments coming season 20 mid-season. So this is how they're adjusting it. Heist Battleground Mars. So these are like, I guess, specific to Mars, decreasing how often combatants spawn, higher difficulties in tower phase, and then increasing the map score multiplier to help players reach score goals without exploits. Because people were doing stuff. There was one I heard about where you just kill your teammate, or your teammate dies, and you just res them over and over again, and that's how they were getting high multipliers. Then they're adding one additional ammo crate. And then other Heist Battleground changes, reducing the frequency and number of some combatant waves in all boss fights, reducing the health of Death Tongue. I don't know how to say that word. Choristers?
Nailed it.
Yep, nailed it. Hive runes will now have the same health on all difficulties, and thinning out the fallen trip mines in Heist Battlegrounds Moon. So yeah, just small changes like you were talking about earlier, Brad. They just make all these small changes. You just kind of notice them as you go.
Backtracking a tiny bit.
Yeah.
The buzzard, I've heard nothing about. Do we know? Is anyone saying it's the best sidearm ever? What's the story?
I think TV did think that it was one of the best because it's I believe, precision. I haven't deep dived this one yet, but I believe so. It's a precision frame. And so that is one of the ones that, like, if you're good with it and if you have the right damage stacking perks, it's like you're unbeatable if you're playing Rumble or something and you just get your damage stack going. So really, really great sidearm. The fact that it's adept, and we never have adept sidearms. I know TV was talking about that last week here, where he was like, we just got a raid sidearm, and now we get this sidearm. So really good options, both of them. While the raid one isn't as good, I guess just as an archetype, this one actually is a good archetype and is a good sidearm. So a lot of people saying it's a monster.
Okay, because honestly, I never really gravitate towards sidearms. I've always found that I just not very good with mouse and keyboard with sidearms, but the raid sidearm feels really crisp on mouse, and first sidearm I'm like, holy shit, this is actually all right. So this is better than that. Oh baby.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I haven't got one to drop myself. I've been too busy in getting like deep diving the Neomuna and the seasonal weapons to dive into the Nightfall stuff. But from what I've heard from TV, it is very, very spicy.
Okay, spicy meatballs.
And speaking of spicy stuff, that's actually the next section of the TWAB that I am very excited about. And that is diving into not the weapons leaving. That's not super exciting, but the weapons entering. They give us a little preview. So leaving, we have Mindbender's Ambition. If you're looking to get that, final week is 4/18. Malicious Birthright, the kinetic grenade launcher, final week is 5/2. Trials of Osiris, the Inquisitor, and Whistler's Whim are leaving. And Whistler's Whim, it's out. Like that was this last weekend. The Inquisitor, you'll still have one more week to get it on 5/9. Which the Inquisitor has some really, it's just such a solid shotgun. If y'all like slugs at all, it's kind of hard to get a bad roll on that. It can hit max range, max handling, just with almost any roll. It's really nice. Iron Banner, the Wisner Rebuke, and the Hero's Burden, which, God, I'm so surprised that the Wisner Rebuke is leaving and the Hero's Burden is leaving, because both of those have roles that were just introduced this season, and now they're leaving. Like they've been in the loot pool, but they refreshed them this season. So Hero's Burden has the destabilizing rounds that everyone was going for and is super fun for PvE. And then Wisner Rebuke they put what is it? Not Hipfire Grip, but Offhand Strike, which it lets you, whenever you get a kill, you can hit fire, and it gives you basically like 1.5 times the range you would normally have on a fusion, and makes your accuracy cone like pinpoint accurate. So you can just map someone at 30 meters with that thing after you get a kill. Yeah, it's gross. So the fact that those two are leaving right after they were updated is kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. And then the last one, Rose.
Wait, Rose is going away, so that means I've got to do more competitive, huh?
Yes, I have been in there for that reason, despite not enjoying it very much right now.
What do you want on Rose?
So I think I got an opening shot moving target one today that I really like. A lot of PvP players will tell you explosive payload is what you want in it because that lets you hit further ranges and the explosion will not degrade in damage and it gives you extra flinch on the opponent. But of course, opening shot's like hard to argue with. It's honestly hard to get a bad roll. It's more about you as a player and what kind of range, stability, and handling you want. Because some players out there, they're like, I want to max my handling. My buddy Ill Physics on the Massive Breakdowns, he loves doing the staircase stat where you do the super high handling, then stability, and then range, like a staircase. And so I've tried that for some hand cannons, and I do really like it. But on Rose, for whatever reason, I just need to max my stability on it. Just so that when I'm getting pelted, I can fire back and hit correctly because I am not the best hand cannon player. So that's what I'm enjoying on it.
Okay, I've got some rolls, so I think that'll be right. I mean, I do like explosive payload. I think that's because doesn't it flinch them more too?
Yeah,
you get more flinch
well,
with explosive.
It double flinches them because they get hit with the impact, then it explodes, and they get kind of like flinched again. So. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
And next season, that's leaving. Well, I'll just go ahead and read all of them before I get ahead of myself because they do list it here. So next season, there's a bunch of new stuff coming. Nightfall, they got the Braytech Osprey Void High Impact Rocket Launcher and Loaded Question Arc High Impact Fusion Rifle, which we haven't seen Loaded Question in a while, and that was known for its reservoir burst. That was the first fusion to ever get reservoir burst. So I'm curious what that will come back with. Well, they got to make it
rocket. What archetype is that Void Rocket? Because I need a new
High
Void
impact.
Rocket.
Pretty good.
Is that the best one? What's the most damage one? What's the hothead? Is that hothead?
Hothead, I believe is. Gosh, I am not the PVE rocket guy. People are gonna yell at me, but I'm pretty sure that's adaptive. Now I have to look.
Yeah, fuck it. No point of it.
It's gonna kill me. Hothead is.
Yeah, chat's saying it's adaptive.
Okay, cool. I nailed it. Nailed it. PvP player nailed it. So yeah, those are the two coming for Nightfall, Vanguard, Positive Outlook, Void Precision Auto Rifle. So most of these are ones we've seen before. And then for Gambit, a new Strand Linear Fusion Rifle coming to Gambit. For Crucible, Randy's Throwing Knife, Kinetic Rapid Fire Scout Rifle. If you've played comp previous years of Destiny 2, you will recognize that. I really like Randy's Throwing Knife, actually, so I'm excited to have that back. And then
wasn't that like a special reward for doing something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comp getting to that middle rank there, you had to grind for it. So yeah, a lot of people in chat right now are very hyped about Randy's. Randy's overall was pretty well received. It wasn't like, oh, this is broken, but a lot of people enjoyed using it because it was just a fluid scout rifle to use, rapid fire, felt really great. And then new stuff with trials, we got the Arc Glaive and the Messenger coming back. So an Arc Glaive, I actually saw a ton of people really upset about this. They were like, why are you giving PvP a glaive?
Why is so many glaive haters? Glaive's not bad. Like, if you know how to use it, right?
I love glaive. So me and my buddy were talking about the Arc Glaive. Like, what if it's a lightweight glaive, like the Hunter exotic, that lets you like fire slightly faster but do less damage. There's none of this damage stacking or anything like that. You just use a glaive and be good with it. That's kind of what I hope it is, but we'll see.
A Trials of Osiris glaive could look kind of cool too.
Like it would, glaive. But people are so mad that it's not a hand cannon.
Okay, so what do people want then? Okay, kids, everyone in the fucking chat go, glaive this, glaive that. What do you want? Another hand cannon?
I think it was just a bad week for it to get announced on because we just came off of having the bow, and a lot of people who play Trials really don't care anything about the bow. So I don't know. You want a Strand pulse rifle? What?
Oh, this is Arc Glaive. You know what? If it was a kinetic glaive, that would pop off.
That would be good. Everybody.
Do you know what? Because you would go do it just so you have it in PvE. Or a Strand glaive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't want people to read this as, because I see in chat they just want a 140 hand cannon. I wouldn't mind a 140 hand, like I wouldn't mind that again, you know. But we just got Exalted Truth, and it's awesome. So I like seeing things get switched up. I understand that not as many people will go for it, but I think it's unique. I'd be excited for it.
Mm.
And then Iron Banner getting a Strand fusion rifle. And Swarm of the Raven, a void rapid-fire heavy grenade launcher. And you know I am very excited about a Strand fusion rifle. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And very last, competitive arc sniper rifle.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very spicy.
Okay. Spicy meatballs. Okay.
So, yeah, that's why Rose is going away. They're replacing it with an arc sniper rifle, which I'm very excited to see because you know with the way Rose is, that they're going to do really well.
It'll be
with
pretty
whatever
stacked.
The sniper is.
Sniper, yeah. Nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah, agreed.
I need a new PvP sniper.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been switching between like I've got a very well rolled what's it called? Frozen Orbit, which I just hit shots with, and then I've got like a slightly not rolled Eye of Soul, and I can't hit shit with it. And I'm like, oh my god.
With the Eye of Soul? Like, really?
Yeah, I just fucking do not hit any shots.
No.
Put on Frozen Orbit, bing bang bong, fucking there goes your head.
That's funny because I feel the opposite. I feel like if I have my Eye of the Soul, like I'm good, and then most other stuff that I try to put on, I'm like, I don't know about this. Eye of Soul is like one of the most consistent for me.
But I don't know. It should be all the stats say it should be. It's even got better aim assist, but I don't know.
It's like the scope and like the weapon just doesn't feel right. You know, like just I've had that. What was that one in Destiny 1 that everybody loved? They had like all the aim assist in the world. I never liked it.
Oh, well, there were two of them. Because you had, and one of them's back. Dang it, now I'm not going to remember it, but it's from Grasp of Avarice, one of those snipers, and then there was another sniper, and I loved them specifically because you could get that square scope on it. Do you remember that scope from D1?
I do remember
it was like,
that, yeah.
Instead of a circle, it was like a square. It's like tack something scope. Yeah. 1,000-yard stare was one of them. Yeah, thank you, chat. And there was one other, but I loved those snipers for sure.
1,000-yard stare. I could never get a decent roll on it. And everybody I knew had like a god roll on it, and I literally got one drop of that thing for like a year, and it was such a bad drop that it was such a bad roll that I couldn't use it at all. I think maybe it was Longbow. I don't remember. It was such a long time ago. So many drugs between now and then. It's hard to stop straight.
I'm glad you're doing good now, Brian.
Yeah.
There's two more things in the TWAB here. One of them, I'm really curious on your take on, Mylan, because it has to do with...
What is this?
This is kind of weird.
It's kind of weird. So there's a whole the Destiny YouTube account is now archiving all the cutscenes, and they're trying to add all of them from seasons past as well. It said they're slowly archiving everything. And one of the questions here... There's three questions. What about other expansions? Almost every cutscene will be eventually uploaded. That's not my guardian. True, because these are recorded videos, but we're doing the best we can, basically. And then, can I share my recordings on YouTube too? We ask that you leave the cutscenes up to us. And this is where it gets really iffy, and there hasn't been much communication because there are whole channels dedicated to the lore, like the consistent lore of Destiny in terms of like, everything that has happened in the game, and they have all these cutscenes on there. What's going to happen?
There's also continuity. Like, there's some of the story happens in a mission. So a lot of people what they'll do is they'll do like, here's this week's weekly mission, and you can watch it from start to finish with all of the dialogue that happens during the mission as well as the cutscenes. So all of that is kind of put together, and like, that's helpful if you forget what happened, or like, let's say you went to orbit too fast and missed Crow getting shot, or if you just want to watch it before bed, you just like watching Crow getting shot in the head before bed. That's nice too. Like,
I might have to hit the Destiny 2 team. I might have to give him a big old tweet. Maybe do it right now.
I like that they're putting this on their YouTube channel, but I don't like that they don't want other people putting it on their YouTube channel because other people.
Bungie has. This is very odd. Bungie has never.
I know.
Done this.
What?
Bungie has always, apart from music,
yeah,
which we went through that whole saga with music, what happened.
Yeah.
Bungie has always been, you can use our assets to make content because we understand that fucking the content community has driven this game and kept it alive for literally since 2014. It's one of the driving forces behind sales and a community is people making videos about your game and giving you a free advertisement.
Yeah,
this seems
I don't like
a bit
this
of a step
one.
away.
I don't like this one at all. I hope they clarify that. Like, if you want to put like the whole mission, because I forget what the story happened in Season of the Splicer, and I might want to go back and like, what the heck happened in that, and like, and be able to watch like week to week, like what that story was. It's somewhat enjoyable, you know. This is sad to me because it's gonna.
Well, I mean, often I will include a cutscene. Like if I
I don't think this has to do
I'm making
with
a lore video.
I think this is more just putting up like the whole cutscene uncut and without.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like if they're gonna start handing out copy strikes for it, logistically, it might just be if I have a full clip of a cutscene in a lore video, that could be caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need clarification.
It depends on how hard they go for it. Even if it's part of a cutscene, that will get picked up by copyright too. If they're going to start,
they say they totally understand and allow clips to be used during video
creation for movie of the week
or other content creation, but full cutscenes. They're specifically talking about full cutscenes.
Yeah, that's a good clarification.
Only videos that are only cutscenes. Because I mean, like,
that's what I think. Well, that's what I think they're specifically targeting here. Is that like if you are uploading, if you're one of those channels that just uploads like, here's the story this week, I don't think they want that anymore, and that's concerning.
Yeah, even with the full cutscenes will need to remain on our channel. Like it's still for something like this that has been an issue before. I feel like they needed to be airtight, concise on what they're saying here because of situations like Mylan, what if there was a cutscene that was like 10 seconds long? Like sometimes that happens. It's a short cutscene and you need to show it. Like that's the full cutscene going on your thing, but it's not, even if it's not, a video that's just the cutscene, but you include the full cutscene in your thing. Is that a problem? And they say for content creation needs, but like, you could call the people who archive all this stuff content creation as well. So where, I feel like it needs to be very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a good example. In my Veil video, coming towards the conclusion of the Veil, I played the entire cutscene with Osiris, the ink blot cutscene where Osiris narrates the difference between light and darkness. Because it was important for the conclusion for people to hear how Osiris in-game described the differences between light and darkness. That sort of leads up to the conclusion of my video. But that cutscene was in its entirety.
Yeah. Yeah. We need clarification on this. And also, I think there should be some grandfathering in here too. Like if people have already been doing this, then and then Bungie says, well, they say they're going back in time and they're adding older stuff. So like, I don't know. I like that. Like, don't get me wrong. I like that they're going to put this on their YouTube channel. That's great.
Yeah.
I don't like that they're kind of changing the rules on content creation around Destiny after 10 years.
Yeah. And especially when there's channels like Destiny Lore Vault that have done so much work in documenting. Like, honestly, there are some like third-party websites and channels that make my job so easy and so accessible. Destiny Lore Vault is something I literally use every week because they transcribe and they capture everything said in the game. Ishtar Collective obviously documents all the lore. And it's funny. It feels like slow. It's just taking Bungie's so slow to do stuff. It's sort of like loadouts, like Dim was there doing it for so long. Like, okay, but now we've got him. Right, now Destiny Lore Vault. Okay, yeah, but now we want to upload. You're like, well, you're not allowed to. It's been 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because, stuff like Destiny Lore Vault, they did it it's for the benefit of the game itself that exists.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I would like to see Bungie come out and, like, I don't know if pay the respects is the right word, but like give some acknowledgement to the existence of those kind of sites and what it means for them.
Yeah, this needs to be more than a 2-sentence blurb. Like, we need some clarification. How are you going to be enforcing this? Who, like, specifically, what are you going to be enforcing? Are you going to be enforcing, like, legacy content? Do people need to go back and scrub their channels?
Yeah.
We'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't. It's weird. It is super weird to me that they didn't call out this question, because there's 3 specific questions in here, and the question we're all asking is not one of them.
And one of them is, how come it's not my guardian? Which is a dumb fucking question that nobody would ask in seriousness.
Gonadry, yeah.
Well, we did have the whole Kvastov incident in this expansion, so it's not my gun. The next thing on the list is actually very cool. At least to me, I don't know. I guess if you don't have Prime gaming rewards, it's gonna suck. But they actually put a new shader that I don't think I've ever seen before in here. Velvet Intention Legendary shader. Okay. Chat, correct me if this shader exists somewhere else, but it looked very cool. Somebody posted a preview of it on Twitter, and it was like them all decked out in gold, and it looked pretty cool.
Sounds like porn from the 70s. Velvet Intention.
Oh, somebody's saying it's ugly. I thought it was cool. But yeah, that's it.
I don't even bother starting talking about Destiny fashion. It drives me up the wall.
That's the end game, Mylan. Come on.
Don't you start with me.
That's like half the reason I go and do something sometimes within a season is because
you're part of the problem then. You're part of the problem then, Lego.
No, I want that look, and I'm like, I need to get that before it goes away.
I'm happy for you, but don't come into my Twitch chat banging on about how ugly my guardian looks, because I don't care. Okay, I'm a functional person. I care about the pews and the builds, not the fashion.
I feel like he cares.
Yeah, that's why it gets to him.
He's because he cares, and now he's pretending he doesn't care.
People literally begging to like take over my account to sort out my fashion. I'm like, I don't care.
Is there anything else we need to talk about? Is it time for Twitter questions?
I think that's pretty much it.
I think so too, right? Oh, Twitter. Why are you so misbehaving these days?
It has been doing a lot of funky stuff.
Can we talk about the artwork, specifically the Furby Nezarec?
Oh, I didn't see that. Where is it? Is it at the bottom?
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Do you know?
Can I have that as a ghost shell, please?
It's so good. It reminds me, because my mum went to America for whatever, like some business trip, and she came back. I can't remember what year Furbies came out, but me and my brother were quite young. And she's like, I got you a present. Yeah. And then it was like a Furby, like, huh? And then like we were so typical boys. We like realized that they would scream if you throw them, so we literally just threw them around the house.
I remember they were like the hot toy of a certain Christmas. I don't remember what year it was.
Yeah,
but they were like, it was one of those like, it's out of stock. Parents are like lining up around the block at toy stores, like pushing each other at lines, like all sorts of stuff.
While we're on the topic of art of the week and movie of the week, should also call out the world's first solo Nezarec. Pretty epic. And I know, so dumb, people were making fun of it's the Snazzy Rock at the Snazzy Rock for him getting so pumped at the end of the encounter for beating it after trying for so long. And I just thought it was awesome. Like, that's the kind of stuff I personally live for in gaming, is getting that hype. Maybe I haven't gotten to that hype level. It was very hype, but like that, it makes me happy to see somebody so pumped about an accomplishment. I just wanted to call that out, that they won movie of the week. So congrats on not only soloing Nezarek, but also getting movie of the week. Very cool.
I feel like all streamers in the Destiny community in solidarity ought to make that their sub alert. Him getting hyped.
Yes.
Yep.
Just every time somebody even follows you.
Yeah.
I love it.
I saw this Twitter video, or maybe it was a TikTok, and everyone like retweeted like they must be protected, and it was obviously someone who had just started playing Destiny, and they were using the most basic sword, like legendary sword or whatever, and they were just in love with it.
Yeah,
and it was nothing of worthy note in the video, but apart from watching someone really enjoy discovering Destiny for the first time.
That's great.
And you're like, oh, I remember that happiness.
What was that hunter store that you do the anime run with it behind you?
Yeah.
What was that sword called?
Who knows?
Yeah, I still like running around with that sword. That sword was just so fun to use.
You know, there's a new version of that this season. You grind the seasonal through the seasonal engrams, if you go to the war table on the left side of where you focus the engrams, you can get either Imperial Decree shotgun, and it's craftable, or one of the 3 swords, the Hunter one, Warlock, or
awesome.
Titan one. And it's the ones from the Menagerie, like the updated versions of them. So they're all craftable, which is really cool. It's really hard to get those red borders, but I've been trying to grind some of them out. I have a few red borders, so I'm on my way. But those are very cool weapons, so I'm excited to have them again.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of miss that idea of like the class-specific weapons. I always thought that was a fun idea, and it helps the classes kind of separate from each other as well.
Yeah. Gold Tusk, yeah, there's the name.
Hey Blaze says, what are the crew's thoughts on older weapons being reprised all the time? Are you all tired of earning the same weapons over and over again, or is it okay because the weapons get new potential roles? What about reused weapon models? At the end of the day, after all, a gun is just a gun. A gun is just that.
What was the question? Like reskins?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like reprised weapons? You know, like a lot of times the weapon isn't just a reskin; it's the weapon is just back, like the quick thing. You know, it's back. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
But new perks though too, and for that's what sells it for me. Like it's the gameplay loop and the actual like playing the game for me. Like, yes, I do love the fashion, like don't get me wrong, but the fashion of the weapon, unless it's like a raid or trials thing, they could reintroduce whatever they want and put new perks on it. As long as the perks are interesting and they put thoughts into the archetype and it making that archetype worthwhile again, then I'm all about it. I could care less what it looks like personally, but give me cool armor. I don't necessarily want reprised armor because that's a whole other conversation.
I think overall, in general, Bungie could probably do a better job with weapon aesthetics, from reprised weapons to new stuff which looks very similar. It's just a reskin. A reskin looks different because it's got a different skin on it, but the frame of the weapon looks the same. And I think when I think of seasons that really stood out to me, there were often seasons that had unique looking weapons. And Season of Splice still stands out to me as being a cool season because of the aesthetic of the weapons with it. And I think for a loot and shoot game, that probably should be pretty close to the priority.
Makes sense.
So I think they can do a bit better. But it's not something that I think about a lot and that I'm angry about either. It's sort of like,
I feel like the way they're doing it the past few seasons has been fine to me. I know the Neomuna weapons got a lot of backlash because they have the same base frame as a lot of other weapons in the game, specifically the moon weapons. It's like a lot of like Loud Lullaby and the Trials Fusion. Like they're all like the base of those moon guns. And I see like the dilemma there, but they're redone enough that I don't see those weapons when I look at them now. Like I see the new stuff. And so that's fine with me. And I think there's enough of a mix between like bringing back like that menagerie shotgun and the swords with the whole new seasonal weapons all looking different. And then also on top of that, the raid weapons looking just entirely otherworldly. Like there's enough new stuff that balances out the remixed old stuff that I'm okay with it.
I actually am less concerned about what the weapons look like as opposed to what they feel like, with the exception of exotics. But
right,
the problem to me is that you can have 40 guns that all look different, but firing them all feels essentially the same. There might be small differences. You know, the range is a little bit better on this one, and you know, this one's got slightly different perk on it. But what I get really excited is when they start introducing new weapons, new weapon classes, that kind of stuff. Like that's what really gets me going, because we've been playing with mostly the same weapons for, you know, a very long time. So when they switch up archetypes, when they switch up like, you know, functionality, that's what really gets me going. And I'm really excited that we're finally like running out of exotics that can come to Destiny 2 that were in Destiny 1. Because to be honest with you, that's been driving me crazy for all of Destiny 1, especially when they have me run some stupid like mission to get it. Like, oh, you gotta do this, and then you gotta run 3 strikes, and then you gotta run this, and then you get your reward is a weapon that you already did this for in Destiny 1. Like, can't you just give it to me? I already earned it in Destiny 1. The worst of that to me is the Galahorn, because you know it took me forever to get the Galahorn in Destiny 1, and then they did an exotic quest for the Galahorn in Destiny 1, right? So you could re-get like the new version of it, and then they did it again in Destiny 2. So it's like the third time, and it's like, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah, I see that side of it too. There's some part about some of the exotic missions I like the way they did Last Word in Destiny 2, like was a cool mission that was unique. That was like, oh, that had like
was
some
cool.
meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Galahorn thing, that does get me a bit.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of stuff like that about Destiny 2. I feel like they leaned on nostalgia too hard, too fast, right? I mean, they were already leaning on nostalgia, I believe, in Destiny 1 with the Kvostov mission, if you remember that, where they really kind of like, oh, this was the beginning of your journey in Destiny 1. And it was somewhat effective, and the Galahorn mission, same kind of thing. But nostalgia has to have a little room to breathe, you know? And like when you just are always leaning on it, like it loses its effectiveness.
Yeah.
CJSD says, do you think Bungie should share just how much they made this expansion to prove if their new methods are actually working? Like how much money they made? I'm not sure I understand the question. Just how much they made. Do you think Bungie should share just how much they made this expansion to prove if their new methods are actually working?
I mean,
it's apparently it's at the highest player count since like
yeah.
Shadowkeep or something. So they're gonna guess they made a lot. I'm not too sure what the new method is. It's pretty formulaic in Bungie's release of expansions and DLCs.
Yeah, I think
everyone knows they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, the player count is enough to say like, hey, this has been successful, you know?
Yeah. Mets number 21 says, do you have faith in Bungie when it pertains to the future PvP titles after the way they've handled PvP in Destiny 2? That's interesting, actually.
I feel pretty safe about it, personally.
I know it'll feel good.
Exactly. Like it'll feel good. Here's a testament to it: is we're 8 years in, and I've alternated between Apex, PUBG, like all these other games that are intense PvP arenas that I really like, and 8 years later, I'm still playing Destiny, and I feel like that's a testament to even if like they do. That I don't know what happened to PvP team. I don't know the background of what is going on at Bungie, but I know that like I'm getting regular sandbox updates right now and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And Strand is just so much fun in PvP. Like Mylan was saying that I think feel
Strand's the biggest evidence that they're working, like they know what's up, but they've sort of worked out how to introduce something that's very fun, but also pretty balanced. You also got to think that whatever the next game is, it's not going to be a MMO light PvP game. I mean, I'd be highly unlikely for them to reintroduce a PvP game that's going to have all the same goddamn problems as the difficulty of balancing Destiny PvP. So I would assume that big problem won't be there, and they'll have a much smaller sandbox to manage if it's a PvP focused game. Or at the very least, they won't have to manage PvE and PvP, which solves a lot of problems too. And then I think the next big issue with Destiny is obviously connection. And, this is, I think, what said last time, they probably will have a different connection if they do only a PvP only game. So,
I mean, have you guys heard all the stuff that's going on with Counter-Strike 2, where they're they're up in the tick rate, like standard to 120 hertz. In fact, it's like an adaptive tick rate, I believe, that's going to be like, depending on what your action is happening in the game, it's going to get faster or slower to save bandwidth or to provide faster responsiveness. I mean, technology in Destiny is quite old at this point. And
it makes me, if anything, I'm curious to see what systems they end up implementing. Like, are they going to take stuff from Destiny, or are they going to more so take what they've learned from Destiny into whatever they do next? Because obviously they're going to take the feel, like every game that Bungie makes feels incredible. And then the question is like, what's the behind the scenes stuff? And if they are making a specific PvP game, like Mylan said, they're not going to deal with the same issues that we've been dealing with in Destiny. I think that does speak a lot.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out what they're working on. Like,
I just want to know.
Like, I'm really looking forward to it. I wonder how long it's going to be. Then Bungie, speed is not one of their many fine qualities.
Speed is definitely not one of their fine qualities.
Yeah.
Sith Wicked says, what D1 raid do you think we'll play in the season after Deep? It can't be Wrath. We already have Outbreak. Thoughts? It could totally be Wrath, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Why can't it be Wrath? Just because we have that weapon? They could put something else in there. I think Wrath is probably the best choice.
I think it probably... Well, we don't have... The problem with Wrath is, doesn't that have a lot of, like, the Splicer dregs in it? And we don't have anything like that in the game right now. Whereas if you do something,
what I would do then?
Like, I don't think they could unless they introduced a whole new enemy type. And if you do that much investing into bringing that character into Destiny 2, then you would want content based off of that so that you could double dip. Whereas like something like Crota's Inn, you have the assets for that. You could just make it better, or make it longer or more intense or something.
I imagine they would just replace Wrath enemies with Scorn.
Yeah, Scorn is
closest.
That'd be cool.
Crota is not in Destiny 2, right?
Yep.
No.
What else isn't in Destiny 2 yet? It's Crota, Wrath.
Was it Kingsfall and Volga in D2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one, right?
Please don't tell me we're blanking, chat.
Chat will help us out. And then we just don't acknowledge the chat. It's the one that told us, and we'll sound smart.
Fire? That's D2.
Imagine Crota, but odd.
Oh, Prison Elders. That's not a raid, but I hear you.
Yeah. I feel like it... Yeah, given everything we know, I feel like it has to be Crota. Given that we're heading into expansions where supposedly we're still fighting the last of the 3 worm gods. I mean, maybe. I don't... or sisters, so...
Chat says you can return Lost Destiny 2 raids, and I say, no, you cannot. You cannot sell us a raid again. No.
I'll Scourge of the Past. I think I don't know. The raids have never really aligned with the seasonal stories or the overall stories. Like I remember when I can't remember what was happening with Vault of Glass, but I was like, bro, this is so easy to tie into the story right now with Vex stuff. Just nothing, not connected at all. So I don't know if I would say a Crota raid because of the Hive Sisters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my place. Hold on. Give me a second.
They wouldn't ever charge for turning raids. Nice. Man, all the Callous ones would be easy to bring back if they did bring back D2 stuff because we already have the Leviathan assets in there.
You wouldn't feel gypped if they brought back a Destiny 2 raid.
No, because I am not personally, like if they like revamped it and made it interesting, well, first of all, not that many people were doing raid, or at least like PvP players like me weren't going into those raids as much. Like I feel like there are so many people who never even played Spire of Stars or some of that content. And I only did the original Callous raid like maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. Like I just there was not enough incentive for me to go in there and do that stuff.
The Midnight Coup was incentive enough.
I mean, I think I got that like my second run, and so I was like, okay, you know what I need. But if they like revamped it, that was actually what made me like a little disappointed in the Callous fight in Lightfall. Was like I played that original Callous raid and I never wanted to do it again because it was really difficult with the LFG group I ran, and then I took Callous out by myself, in the mission, and I was like, well, yeah.
Insane 8511 says, "What is one item you cannot live without at a barbecue?"
The meat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's it. That's it for me. You
guess,
could take away the sauce.
What are you gonna put it on? You need the barbecue.
I mean, I like it rare. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What's more important, the heat or the meat?
Well, if you have the barbecue, then you don't have the meat. What's going on?
Just need the hot Texas sun and a nice clean sidewalk. We got it.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I can't live without at a barbecue. Like if I'm at a barbecue and like let's just assume like the standard barbecue stuff is there. There's a grill, there's meat, there's tongs, there's sunshine. But there's got to be friends, right? Like it's not a barbecue.
Yeah.
If you're just like grilling on your back deck, that's not a barbecue, right? If you're just alone on your back deck, or you got like your family out there, that's not
just
a barbecue,
sad.
right? But the barbecue is formed when you have like neighbors over or friends over. Like you have a gathering. That's a barbecue.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Also beer.
I like how someone in chat, when you started going down this route of it, they were just like, okay, bye, I'm out. I know that's just timing probably. They're like, we're getting savvy, I'm out.
Lone Wolf says, loadouts are great, but it still needs some much needed quality of life features. Firstly, why isn't there an option to delete loadouts? Overriding doesn't count. It'd also be nice to give them custom names or the ability to drag and change positions. Also, more loadout slots, please. Thanks. Well, you can earn more loadout slots, can't you?
You can have 10 per character. Look, I think the loadouts have been so useful in general. Like, there are definitely things to improve with it, like custom names and all that kind of stuff. But it's such a welcomed need. It's kind of good.
Yeah. Those are nice quality of life features that Lone Wolf has put in here, but it's pales in comparison to actually getting loadouts after so many years.
I think some of that is just the act of like they had to get it in the game and have the first iteration of it before they are able to do some of the features that we would like to see. And the Dim has been doing this forever at this point. Like you said, they were just right on top of it. And so they have evolved their system over time. And I'm sure Bungie will do the same now that it's in the game. I was actually impressed messing around with it for the first time that you could like, change I haven't messed with it hardly at all. I just run the same thing and then just manually change it. And I was like, oh yeah, I should interact with this system some. And just the fact that you can change like the color of stuff and swap stuff, the way that you swap stuff around, it seemed very intuitive as far as this. Like I thought it would be more clunky for the first iteration, and it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, there's some fine tuning, but for this first iteration, I'm pretty happy with it.
Zabe says, other than Destiny, what else have you been playing?
I haven't been playing much else at the moment. There is a game I've been meaning to play called Meet Your Maker.
Oh, yeah, that looks cool, man.
Yeah, I saw it at Game Awards, and then it just sort of surprise release because I hadn't been paying attention. And it's a bit like a first person, a bit like a Mario Maker mixed with Doom.
Yeah.
So you basically make a map that people have to beat, but it's like first person shooter.
Yeah, you design traps and enemy locations, and then like other players come and try and beat your map, and you go and try and beat other players' map. There are some like weird little things about it, like you only get 2 bullets for your gun. You can earn more, like you can upgrade your character over time. It looks like a really fun game. I'm with you. I want to check that out.
It sounds really cool.
It is cool.
I did play Diablo 4 too, which I thought was very good. Made a review about it.
To that. When's that come out?
June.
Fuck. This summer is going to be oddly hot for like big, awesome video games. Like real hot. When is the new Zelda coming out?
Oh yeah.
I want to say May, but I'm not sure.
Like end of May though, right? Can't remember exactly.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
May something, I think.
I haven't played like anything.
Playing a bunch of Street Fighter 5, getting ready for Street Fighter 6, which also comes in June. I actually just got one of these guys. These are like these all button controllers. So instead of having like a joystick over here, you use the buttons to do your directionals. And actually, while it was in the mail, it got banned by Capcom.
So what banned is in that you can't use it playing the game?
It needs a firmware update. Like the problem with it is that if you hit left and right at the same time, it goes to neutral. But if you hit down and up at the same time, it defaults to up. And Capcom just created a rule that says if you hit down and up at the same time, it's got to go to neutral. So this is technically a banned controller.
Wow. Well, at least they're firmware updating it, so you can use it.
Yeah, it's a. I'm really looking forward to Street Fighter 6 though. It looks amazing. I played both the betas. Thanks to Watch, she gave me her code, and there's rumors that there's going to be a public beta later this month, which should be fun.
How good are you at these games, bro?
I am not good. I am not
Street Fighter God.
No. There are ranks in Street Fighter. This amazing system in
what's
Street
your
Fighter.
rank?
It's rank. There's ranks, and you can. The more you play, the higher rank you go. They should add something like this to Destiny. I think people would love it. But it starts off at like rookie, and then goes to bronze, then super bronze, then ultra bronze, then silver, super silver, ultra silver, gold. So on, platinum, diamond, and then like master and like super grandmaster and like all that stuff. I'm way down here in the bronze.
What are you, bronze?
Every once in a while, I taste silver. I get silver, and then immediately get smacked back down to bronze. But I sit here and I have a good time when I'm playing it. So it's like just like Destiny. I was never any good at Destiny PvP, but I always had fun playing it, and that's what matters most.
Watts brings up a good point, saying, are you looked at as a Zim user in that community now?
100%.
Cheating. It's illegal. Cheating.
It's literally illegal right now.
Some game just banned Zim and all that kind of stuff. So how long before Destiny? I want to say, was it COD?
Yeah.
Or Fortnite?
I think it was COD, yeah. Why? It's funny that none of us know. I'm pretty sure it was COD, though.
They actually said they had a way of detecting it, though.
That's right.
Which I think is new, and I wouldn't be surprised if that technology gets spread, right? If there's a legit way to detect if that thing's plugged in.
Yeah, the one thing about that whole conversation is I went through and read a bunch of stuff about it afterwards that was saying, yeah, but Zim already has like plugins and stuff to like go around what they've already implemented. So
really?
I don't know, that take it secondhand. I don't really know the ins and outs of how all that works, but some people are saying that there are ways around the system that they're implementing. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, of course, all of Destiny is like, come on, Bungie, let's get some dev to dev communication on this one.
Sam says, if you want a contest for a lifetime amount of any candy and any pop, what would you pick and why?
Any what?
Candy and pop.
Sadie pop.
Yeah.
Probably the drink. Probably just something. I feel like if you went to something too exotic, you would get sick of it. Do you know? Like if you went for Passiona. Do you have Passiona over there?
No.
Nope.
It's
no,
like
I want to try it though.
It's like a passion fruit flavored soda. And like one of them is good, but like 5 of them no good. Do you know?
Can I just say no to this on like basis of like trying to protect the little bit of health I still have? Like, if I had a lifetime supply of candy and soda available to me at all times, like that's just too much temptation. Like if I had stacks of candy bars in my house, that'd be bad. It'd be bad for everybody I knew too, because I'd be like bringing them over all the time. Like, here, you want some? You want 20 Snickers bars?
I feel like the solution for me to that is you got to get something that you can mix together. So
okay,
you get the Sour Punch straws and then Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, so you can eat it by itself. You can eat the Sour Patch straws, you can drink the drink, or you can put the Sour Patch straw in the drink and just do it together. And so you got some variety, and then you swap back next week so it's not so stale.
Does an energy drink count as a soda or a pop? Can I I mean, if it's fizzy, it's a pop, right?
It's got to be carbonated enough, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because it'd be nice.
I can tell you right now, I've sort of experienced a little bit of this dilemma because I actually had a solo sponsorship. I think you have solo over in America,
but solo
it's like
cups, like those red cups.
It's like a lemon drink.
Oh, okay.
It's and they obviously sent me some to like drink on stream, etc. But there was like a minimum order from Woolworths, like their shopping center. So I got like fucking 3 cartons of Solo. So like 64 cans of Solo, whatever it was. I was just like having Solo. I wake up, I feel like I was just drinking Solo 3 times a day. It was bad. Like I was like, I could feel my health deteriorating.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with sugar either. I don't know why, but if I drink like a sugary, like a Coca-Cola, I'm okay. But if I drink like 1.5, I get a upset stomach, like that, like a bad one. Like I'm gonna have to lay down and like be miserable for a while. And I can't mix like a candy bar and a sugary drink. Like it's too much sugar. Like my stomach just doesn't handle sugar well like that.
I can do it like 1 or 2 nights in a row of that, and that's kind of the limit. Then I'm done. Then it feels like that for me.
Yeah, the feeling on your teeth if you like say you have a night out and you've had heaps of mixes or something like Coke and whatever, and then you forget to brush your teeth because you're absolutely trashed.
Yeah,
and it's like the next oh my teeth.
It feels like cavities.
I can literally feel the cavities right now.
I mean, if I had to pick though, it'd be Snickers bars and probably Diet Dr. Pepper. I love Diet Dr. Pepper. It's good. Or it'd be
Dr. Pepper here.
Or it'd be an energy drink, but that'd be bad for you too. Imagine having like unlimited supply to like Red Bull or something. Like that'd be bad for you.
Yeah.
I went through a really bad. I seem like I've got these bad times in my life where I'm addicted to soda drinks. When I was doing my honors thesis at uni, I used to, like part of my routine, I used to walk to the shops in the morning and buy. Do you guys have Mother over there?
No.
Mother?
We have Mothers.
It's like it's same as like Monster. It's like it's like the size of the it's same with the Monster cans. It's called Mother. Ones, I used to get a big can. So I used to start every day just drinking a can of Mother like on the way back from the shops. And then get into writing it. Yeah, write this honest thesis.
I briefly had a girlfriend who worked for Red Bull. Her job was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these like cars that are painted in the Red Bull logo, and they have like a giant can of Red Bull on the top. But her job was to drive that car around to like, you know, any sporting event in the area, and then give out free samples of Red Bull. So she always had cartons of Red Bull. And she just, you know, here, have a carton of Red Bull. And I just like keep it in the car and keep it in the fridge. And like, I just had Red Bull all the time. And it was like, it was awesome because anytime you're tired, you just chug a Red Bull. But it's also like, this is a ton of sugar. I think it was before sugar-free Red Bull was a thing, or I wasn't aware of it. It was like a ton of sugar. I don't know if all that taurine and all that caffeine is necessarily great for you either.
Yeah, there's a reason, you know, I don't know if everyone went through this stage in other countries, but in Australia, it sort of got to an issue because you had the whole like alcohol and Red Bull mixes.
Yeah, that's right.
And like everyone was like just like a goddamn roller coaster, just slamming like.
Nothing you want better than a wide awake drunk.
What was it called when you dropped a shot?
Four Loko. Oh, well, they sold one in America called Four Loko, and it was pre-mixed. And they
Jaeger bombs is what I was thinking of. Jaeger bombs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those were great. Good times.
That's
Four Loko
man.
days were good times.
Oh, then eventually it's like, bro, we can't keep like people. I think someone died here just from having like 6 fucking Red Bulls in one night. You're like, okay.
Was it the Red Bulls or the alcohol?
Probably a combo.
Like, natural flow of the night is you start drinking, you get tired, you stop drinking, you go to bed. Natural flow of a Red Bull and vodka night does not have that de-escalation.
No.
What time is it? 11:01. Let's do 2 more. How's that sound?
Copy that.
Serious McTTV says, "Do we think we'll see old pinnacles? I'm looking at you, Mountaintop. Come back." Wait, wasn't?
Well, we are right now.
Yeah. Throwing
Randy's.
Randy. Yeah, Randy's throwing that.
So yes.
Okay, here's a question for you, PvP God. How much of a menace would Mountaintop be in today's sandbox?
Well, it's already in today's like, you know, you can use it in Iron Banner and nobody's using it. So
no one does it.
I think that more of a menace is actually Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten.
I was getting slapped by someone using Not Forgotten just recently.
Really?
It's just people. I honestly shouldn't be talking about it on this podcast because then people might pull it out. But it's pretty good, and I don't want to see it. So yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about Mountaintop too much because we have breach grenade launchers that one shot and pretty like people using Salvenger Salvo a lot lately, and I don't appreciate it. But I feel like in that way, Mountaintop won't make that much of a difference. But with Luna's Howl Not Forgotten, the way people are bringing that back out, I'm like, I don't really want to see those again.
Blaney McBlanderson says, which of the following true facts seems the least truthy? 1, the word moose is both singular and plural. 2, for any person, there are an average 8,000 other people who have the same number of hairs on their head. And 3, on the Jovian moon, Ganymede, snow falls upward. Interesting. All of those sound like
so. These are actually all true, but which sounds the least true?
What he claims.
Or maybe they're all not true.
Moose is right. That's confirmed, right? Yeah. Which sounds wrong because a goose, plural of goose is geese.
Wait.
So you think that
what about
plural
meese?
Of moose would be meese?
Mooses?
No, I think it's just moose.
So you're telling me a murder of moose is just a moose?
Yes, it's a moose. They're moose.
Okay.
We don't have moose here, but if we did, we'd call them meese, I think.
If snow is falling upward, isn't that just like wind? Like it's not falling, it's like getting blown. It can't just things can't fall upward.
Well, they never say
fall.
They never say any of these things are true. They just say which one sounds the most false. So I'm going to go with falling upwards.
Yeah, falling upwards sounds false.
But, Brad, do you know what this is?
That is a fake picture that you found on the internet.
That's me getting a goddamn doctorate. How many of them do you have?
I also don't have any pictures of me with a mustache, so I think that evens out.
So I haven't been on the cast that long. How often does Mylan do that?
That's the first time.
No way.
Sometimes when this is the first time, yeah, but sometimes when chat really pisses me off, I just like to bring this photo out and go, "Hey, excuse me."
Yeah,
I like how you have it laminated.
No, this is not even laminated. It's just in the little sheet, like when you buy photos, a little plastic covering they give it to you.
Yeah,
I would whip that out all the time. Yeah, that's good. I need to see that more often on this podcast.
Fake photo.
Fake photo.
That's the day you got your pen license.
True.
All right, guys, I think we should wrap this one up. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for everybody in the Twitch chat for joining us. Thank you to the subscribers. Thank you for the patrons. Thank you, everybody. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Lego, Mylan, thank you guys.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing after this?
I'm going camping
for
Easter weekend.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't
if
think
I
you
don't return, I've either
go
been
camping in Australia after all the videos I've seen on the internet.
This could be the last time we chat, so thanks everything.
Yes.
If I don't return, I've been eaten by a shark, or bitten by a snake, spider,
watch for the drop
mauled
bears.
by a koala.
Dude,
also known as a drop bear.
Can you confirm this? Do Australians check their shoes every time you put them on for funnel web spiders?
Over east for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm camping, I wouldn't leave them. Yeah, I would give them a tap.
Oh,
yeah,
only when you're camping though, like not just around the house.
It depends. Not around the house, no way. Not here anyway. But friends who live in Queensland and stuff, yeah. Depending on like whereabouts you live, you give them a bit of a tap. Definitely if the shoes are outside, 100%.
Yeah.
You just don't leave your shoes outside. But there'll be other places where you'll get spiders probably a bit more abundant in the house. I mean, here we have the house sprayed with like pesticides to get rid of them all. And you go outside and just all the bloody spiders have fallen down off the roof, of the veranda and stuff. That sorts them out.
Well, have fun camping.
Yeah.
Leo's first time camping.
I hope he makes it.
He'll make it.
I hope there's a second. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Pray for Mylan and his family. Goodbye.
Peace.
See ya. Bye-bye.